Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to this video. And in this video I just want to talk a little bit about are game developers becoming lazy? Because the reason why I want to talk about this is basically I was on Facebook the other day just scrolling through my newsfeed, as we all do, and I come across this video where it said Far Cry 2 is better than Far Cry 5. And obviously that piqued my interest. I'm like, well, how is Far Cry 2 better than Far Cry 5 when Far Cry 2 is such an old game and Far Cry 5 is brand new? So I watched it, and I will have a link to it here because I need everyone else to watch it to understand what I'm ranting about. So go watch it and then come back to this video. So if you've just watched obviously the Far Cry 2 is better than Far Cry 5 video, which I'm hoping you have, as you can see in the video, there's all these small little details that just make Far Cry 2 so much more polished than Far Cry 5. And obviously, don't get me wrong, you know, these aren't game breaking things. Like, you know, if you watch the video, you'll see that the guy shoots a tree.
One eternity later.
Sorry about that. That was just the missus ringing, and as you know, you cannot ignore the missus when she rings. So yeah, as I was saying, obviously these aren't game breaking things, and if you see the video, you'll see that the guy shoots a branch, and obviously the branch falls off. Whereas in Far Cry 5, he shoots the branch and nothing happens. Now, that doesn't scream realistic to me, because obviously if I was to go outside now and shoot up a tree, not saying I'm going to do that, but if I was to do that, obviously the branches would start falling off. So it's like game developers are kind of, obviously game development has took a step forward with, you know, graphics and all that, but it's kind of also took a step back in the fact that there is no polishness in it now. You know, if that kind of makes sense. But it's not only that, you know, because like I said, these aren't game-breaking things, you know. It's not going to put me off like, oh, well, I'm playing Far Cry 5 because when I shoot the tree, it don't fall apart. Or when I shoot someone, he just kind of rolls over and accepts his death. You know, I'm still going to play the games, obviously. But, you know, it's not just those things. It's many other things, and we did a blog about this, and basically it's also games releasing in early access. And obviously there is pros and cons to this, like, but it's kind of annoying because as, you know, as a gamer, and you know, there's many gamers out there obviously, but what I don't want is just game developers like, oh, let's rush the game and we'll push it out and people will download it in early access and then we'll get all their feedback and we'll keep it on early access for like 4, 5, 6 years and we'll make loads of money. And then because it's early access as well, you don't know the development of the game. They could just turn around like, oh, nah, that's it, we're done. We don't feel like, you know, creating any more updates for the game. We're done. And then they'll just, you know, wipe their hands of the game. Because it's early access, you do not know the development of it. And, you know, we've seen that with, for example, Daisy. That was such a bad game. Like, the Daisy standalone version I'm talking about. But it released, I think it's been in early access for what, like 4 or 5 years now? And I was such a big fan. If you read the blog, you'll see that I was hoping for this game to succeed, because obviously I played the Arma 2 mod and I was just so excited for it, and then when I heard that it was getting its own standalone version, I was ecstatic just like many other people. And then, you know, just to see it fail as hard as it did, it's upsetting, especially when you pay for the game. I think it was, I can't remember exactly because I obviously bought it when it first came out, but I think I paid about £20-some, and it's still in early access now, and the bugs that were there like four years ago are still there today, and it just bugs me. It's like, come on, how lazy can you be? And then the worst thing is as well, it's like those bugs are like game breaking ones. Like, For example, you know, you're getting chased by a zombie in the game. So obviously you run into a house, close the door behind you, and you think you're safe. But no, this zombie somehow manages to run through the door or through the wall, and then he's attacking you, and you're like, well, that's it. I'm dead now. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's awful, and I just don't get it. It's like, how can you have these game-breaking things in your game 4 years down the line? You know, once after release, it's still in early access. You still have all these bugs, and yet year after year after year, you keep saying that you are going to release it. You know, you're going to fully release it, but I'm sorry, how can you fully release it if it still has them game-breaking bugs? But anyway, I'm going to get off the rant, because obviously you're not here for a DayZ rant, so I'm going to get off that. I just get so passionate about the game because it hurt me. It hurt me just to see it fail. It hurt me. But anyway, I'm going to get off that rant because this video is obviously about how game developers are becoming lazy. So I just obviously want to get back into that. And talking about the early access, I don't hate games releasing in early access. I mean, if it's done correctly. I mean, for example, if you look at Fortnite, obviously that game's still in our early access, but it's blowing up. It's took the world by storm, and the fact that it released in early access, but it did a good job. That's the main one there. It did a good job in releasing in early access. So, you know, they're constantly updating the game. Every single week there's a new update. And yes, there is a few issues like, you know, servers go down or whatever, but I don't mind that when you are constantly updating the game, bringing out new things and, you know, working out those kinks. But what I do mind is when obviously you're there and you release it in early access, you take everyone's money and you're just like, yeah, we're done. We're releasing an update every, you know, every month and a half. You know, we don't really care now. We've got your money. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's what grinds my gears. But it's not only like games releasing in early access. You know, like I said, I do not mind if it's done correctly. But game developers are just getting so lazy now. I mean, you see it all the time with like Call of Duty, for example. So the development of Call of Duty is obviously, it's a year development by 3 different companies. And you just see it, and every single year it releases, it's the same game. I'm sorry, but it is. And for all you Call of Duty fans out there, you can hate me all you want, but deep down you know it's the same game. That's just how it is. They don't bring anything new to it because they know people are just going to turn around and buy their game. Like, they're that confident. They know that people are going to be like, oh yeah, brand new Call of Duty, we'll buy it, because it hits that younger audience, and because all their mates are playing it as well. Obviously they've got to buy the game then to keep up with their mates, because they don't want to be the only one at school not playing this new game. You know, it makes them feel a bit left out, so obviously they're going to buy it, and you know, Activision and other companies know this, so they don't do anything new and inventive, because there's no need, because people will constantly keep buying their games. And you know, I'm not hating on gamers, because obviously as a gamer you're gonna buy new games, it's just what it is. But I'm more hating on the developers. Like, how can you keep doing this? It's just annoying. It's like, come on, you know, if you're working on a game, put some passion into it, have new ideas, don't be afraid, you know, create something in, you know, change, you know, just change the way the game works. Don't be afraid, and more gamers will see that you are, you know, you want to do something new with the game and put some, you know, fresh air into it, a breath of fresh air. You know, you want to see the game change, you want to grow it again. Whereas with, like, you know, all these games that are coming out now, it's just like, oh yeah, you know, we'll push it out, or what they do as well is that, you know, and this one bugs me, is they take, say for example, they just take the core of the old game, pull it into the new one, and then obviously just rework the design, and they're like, yep, we're done, that's it, let's you know, sell that for £50, or, you know, $60, you know, we'll just put a ridiculous price on it. But that is not only that, what they do as well is, the worst one is they're like, oh yeah, story. Yeah, we'll create a story that's, you know, 5 hours long, and then what we'll do is, that's it, you've got your 5 hour long story, and if you want to do some more story, we'll lock it behind a paywall. So yeah, buy this DLC right here, buy this DLC right here, and then you'll get the rest of the story. Like, oh my god. It's just absurd. It's just wrong. How can you do that? It's just ridiculous for game developers to do something like that. But then there's other things as well. I mean, like, for example, Ubisoft. They are such a big company for doing this, and we all saw it with like Watch Dogs and The Division. But what they do is they hype up this game, and obviously it's at E3 or whatever sort of event it's at, and they release it and they use in-game footage to hype it up. And the footage is obviously amazing. You look at it and you're like, wow, those graphics, the level of detail that are put into it. So obviously you get super hyped, you pre-purchase it, you get like the deluxe edition, because that's a thing now because it's stupid. And yes, obviously you get super excited for it, and then it comes out and it's a washed down version of what we were promised. And the game developers are just laughing, because they've got all that money and now they are just laughing at us. And there's nothing we can do about it, because, you know, we still got the game we were promised, just not exactly how it was promised. So there's nothing we can do about it, and it's just tragic. It's just super tragic. And I'm sorry to get a bit passionate about this, but it really does grind my gears. Like, how can you as a game developer do stupid stuff like that? But don't get me wrong, you know, obviously I've just had this rant, but, you know, there are good developers out there, and there are ones, you know, sort of like Rockstar. They bring out phenomenal games every single time they release one. It blows up, you know, like GTA, and many other games, Red Dead Redemption. You know, I love that game, and I love the Undead Nightmare DLC for it, because it was fantastic. And I don't mind paying for DLCs that are fantastic. But when you bring out, you know, like a game, for example, like Destiny 2, and you know, me and my mate downloaded Destiny 2 when it first launched, and within 6 hours we'd completed the story. 6 hours, and the story was complete. Are you serious? 6 hours? It's just a joke. But anyway, I'll let you decide in the comments, you know, are game developers getting lazy? Let me know down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, give it a big thumbs up, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.
The beat drops out.